Hey everyone, Mike Rosehart here, talking to you guys today about the power of goal setting and really the power of goals. Now, why do you care about goals, and do you even have goals is the first question you're probably going to be wondering, right? And do I even need goals? Are they important? The answer is yes, and let's talk about why. So I actually credit the greatest one of the greatest things I've ever done to actually promote my own growth of my own wealth, growth of my own success in business, and my own personal growth has been goal setting. Why? Why is goal setting so important? Well, let's go back to the research, because I did a bit of Googling before I filmed this video, and I thought, well, there's got to be some data that supports a lot of what I'm finding in the real world, and a lot of what I'm finding when I talk to other successful entrepreneurs, real estate investors, and business people. And the data, there's wealths of data out there that you can find that does support that goal setting is very, very important. The first is one of the older pieces of data. You've probably heard of this survey before. Back in 1979, they studied some Harvard students, and they asked this group of students, how are they setting goals? Have they set a goal? Are they committing to the goals that they're setting? What types of goals are they setting? And are they writing down these goals and specifically following back up with a feedback loop on those goals? And what they found was 84% of the people in the group didn't really set any goals. It was something like, I think 13% of the group set goals but didn't really write them down and continue to review those goals. And 3% actively set goals, attainable goals that they would look at and they would review. And then 10 years later, they went back and they followed these groups of each of the cohorts in this study. And what they found was that the 13% made double the income of the 84% that didn't set goals. So the 13% that set the goals actually were making double the income, were way more successful. And here's where it gets really interesting. The 3% that set goals, committed to those goals with everything in their being, and then reviewed those goals and continued to follow up on those goals, that top 3% had more wealth than the other 97% combined. And let's not forget that those people in the beginning didn't necessarily have any edge over anyone else. So it was literally likely goal setting that was the major contributing factor. And I've personally found this is totally true. So I continue to dig in some more for you guys and find out what the data suggests. And study after study, like another study I wrote down here, goal setting leads to 33% higher likelihood of actually achieving the goal that you set out. Further data, you can talk about Locke and Lethan, and I've read some more studies about goal setting and success, goal setting and motivation, goal setting and self-confidence, goal setting and resourcefulness. There's strong correlations and actually causation between them if you think about the benefits of goal setting. So now what I want to do, guys, is talk to you today about giving you 4 actionable questions you can ask yourself to set better goals. And if you aren't already setting goals, please right now take the opportunity while we're doing this video, while you're listening to me talk right now, sit down and look at your a piece of paper or open up your journal. And I like to do this by hand. I find it's much more of a cathartic experience. You actually do gain more from writing out by hand the goals and then setting specific goals under each of those goals and drawing out a vision for attaining those goals. So let's get into it and let's talk about how do you set good goals. So the first question I want to talk to you guys about is, the first one I have for you guys is, are you actually writing down your goals and are you committed to those goals? And the reason this is so important is because if you actually sit down, and I do this personally, I'm going to share with you one of my key success traits. Tony Robbins does this. A lot of successful entrepreneurs do this. Each and every night, let's call it 5-6 nights a week. I try my very best each and every night after I put my daughter to bed, after I'm done everything around midnight, I will sit down with my journal and I will write down a list of goals that I would like to accomplish in the long term. I'm talking 5 years out. And then I will write down a series I will break those goals down into more actionable, attainable steps or sub goals. And I think that's so valuable. I recommend doing that every single night. Even if you've done nothing that day, you sit down to do the goal setting. It gets your mind into that mood to want to basically facilitate growth. And if you're a morning person, I'm a night person. If you're a morning person, maybe you get up in the morning, you meditate, and then you revisit your goals. You look at them, you amend them, you say, how am I moving towards these targets? It's just so important that you're committed to those goals. And the action of writing down the goals and thinking through that helps you stay committed. It really helps you to achieve those goals. Next question I want to ask you is, if you're setting goals, Are you setting goals that are too vague? Are they specific? Are the goals really actually something that you can measure? Because that's the key piece. A lot of people set goals that are not measurable. You know, they say, I just want to look better. I just want to be more fit. A better goal would be to say, I want to gain 5 pounds of muscle, or I want to lose 10 pounds of fat in my midsection. And then you could do sub-specific metrics or objectives you can hit to know if you're moving towards that. Because the thing about it is, if your goals are not measured, if you're not being specific about that goal, if it's too grandiose, you won't be able to actually hit that goal. And most people, if they're not getting that some sort of reward or seeing some sort of progress toward that goal, they'll forsaken it and they'll give up on it. So you'll have a much higher likelihood of succeeding if you goal. So this is just, the studies we looked at were just setting goals. So if you're setting any goals at all, you're already 33% better off towards achieving that than you would have been. But if you can learn to set goals really well, if you become a really good goal setter, really effective goal setter, you set up like, dream boards and you bring ideologies like Agile and Scrum into your life, where you're actually moving tasks towards the goals each and every day, and you're revisiting that, you can actually be even higher. Some of the studies suggest you can be 100% more productive, more successful. And the thing is, it compounds. So if you're 100% more productive, you end up being 1,000 times more wealthier, because it's actually a curve, a bell curve in wealth distribution. So you'll climb to the top very, very quickly. And another key piece about being specific is that, you're not going to be able to attain all of the goals that you've set out. You'll only be able to, attain, let's say, 50% of them, right? So you want to make sure you're prioritizing the goals that are most likely to get you to where you want to be, right? The sub goals that will really get you to that high level goal that you really want to actually achieve. So that's really, really important. The next question I'm going to ask you guys is, are your goals too big? And there's actually a saying that, I think a goal without a plan is just a dream. And dreams won't make you successful. Dreams didn't make entrepreneurs successful in and of themselves. They had to have specific plans. And your goal setting becomes eventually, it facilitates very nicely the creation of a plan. Because when you're thinking about, okay, let's say you want to be financially independent, and you're thinking back from that, okay, well, what do I need to be financially independent? You find out you need 6 rental properties that are cash flowing at the 1% rule in your area, let's say hypothetically. Okay, well, how do I get 6 properties? Well, I need to save the rest of the half of the down payment. Okay, so you set a goal to save that down payment. You buy that first property. There's a series of tasks each and every week that you can complete to move towards that grand goal of financial independence. So writing down, I want to be financially independent, that's a good start. It's going to get your mind thinking, going to get the wheels turning, but it's not going to be enough to get you all the way there. You need specific goals, and you need to be knowing that each day and each week you're doing something to move towards the completion of that goal, to move towards upping the level of your overall game, and it'll help build your overall business and your overall personal success. The next one I want to talk to you guys about, and the other piece I want to talk about is actually a quote that I came across. I was looking at some good goal setting quotes, and I think it was Bill Gates that said this. People tend to overestimate what they can complete in a month or a year, but they underestimate what they can complete in 10 years. And that's really powerful if you think about it for a minute. We always think we can get more done in a day or 2 days or a week than we actually can. But none of us, most of us, don't actually look at, in a 10-year period, we can accomplish quite a bit, especially if we're, like I talked about, focusing on attainability, right? In the outset, I talked about, specific goals, right? And I talked about goals being too big. We want to write goals that are very attainable, small goals that we can actually achieve. Like, for instance, buying 1 rental property is an achievable thing anyone can do in Canada or the United States. Any of my viewers on here watching this video today, you can buy a property in the next year, 2 years. There is a way to do it. It might not be the way that you want to get there. There might have to make some sacrifices to get to that goal, but anyone can do that. That's one attainable goal. You could break that down further, right? You could say, maybe I want to go look at 100 properties so I can get a feel for the type of property I want to buy when I'm ready. Maybe I want to start a savings plan so I can begin saving that down payment. Maybe I want to develop relationships with lenders and I start moving towards that. Maybe I want to meet some realtors, start developing my network, my relationships towards attaining that goal, right? And so making small steps that compound. And Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, and Tony Robbins is a great person to talk about, to read about. Go Google him about goal setting, because he talks about the specific small building blocks. And a lot of us are focused on that short-term delayed, immediate gratification, and we should be focused on that delayed gratification. And what I suggest is you set goals that set you up to build a good foundation. So you set goals that are like small foundational blocks that over a 5-year period will amount to this massive foundation. You can really, what'll happen is basically it'll start to snowball. Once you've built that foundation, let's say you've developed relationships with lenders, you know a lot of realtors, you've seen 100 or 300 or 500 properties. You've been out there and in your market, you went out and looked at 100 different properties with agents, and maybe you haven't bought any properties yet. You've actually not pulled the trigger at all, but you're way further ahead towards that goal. And when you're ready to actually buy those properties, you have all that knowledge and all of that network and all of that foundation built. And so having all those pieces put together, even if you can't execute on, for instance, being financially independent now, there is something you can do. There is a goal you can set that'll move you towards that goal. Maybe it's just watching some videos. Maybe it's, going out to a networking event. All those things are so important. So I really recommend making sure, you guys have heard me talk in previous videos about setting SMART goals, right? Specific goals that are specific, that are measurable, that are attainable, that are actionable, that are realistic, and that are timely. That's SMART goals. If you set SMART goals, and I mean this, at least once a week, you sit down and you do some goal setting with your business. Sit down with your significant other. I sit down with my wife and I review my goals. I say, these are some of the things that we want to accomplish this year. I'd like to do this. And she sits down, she writes her goals, and we work together to find out how we can get some of our goals set. And when we're talking about like the Horatio 80-20 rule, right? We think back to, you can only basically accomplish, 20% of the goals will get you 80% of the way there, and that's true. And so I'll pick the top, say, 3 or 4 goals that we really want to hit for this year, and we'll come up with a plan to achieve those goals. And I think that's a very therapeutic thing for a relationship, keeping people growing together. So important. With your business partners, you should be sitting down. If you have business partners or investor partners or really good friends that you want to go into business with, maybe you guys should be aligning your goals together, because this leads to my final 4th question that's going to help you to move forward in the goal setting process and be more successful. Because this channel, what I'm sharing with you guys, is all about helping you build your wealth and helping you guys become more successful in real estate investing and really building your own personal wealth so you can be financially independent and then even beyond that, right? But the last question is, do you have the right people in your network and the right influences in your life to be successful and to align to your goal setting methodology? And so let's talk about the importance of your network. And I could do a whole video just on this, but I want to ask you that question. Are you currently aligned with the people you need to be aligned with? And let me be more specific. So for instance, if your goal, let's just pick something that's not real estate. If your goal is to quit smoking and you lived in a house with 2 other smokers who smoked continually, and across the street there was a smoke shop or cigar shop, or they sold cigarettes, and you went to work and everyone was smoking there, and you go to a family reunion and everyone's smoking, and that is a bad influence and a bad network of people to be around to accomplish that goal. The same thing is true for building your personal wealth. If you surround yourself with people who aren't accomplishing or achieving anything, they are going to drag you down. You will be the average of the 10 people you surround yourself with. And I'm not telling you to go, destroy your entire network, but I'm saying create some space and bring some people into your life that are going to help you to reach those goals. And it's really important in reaching those goals to really set up the network. All of the top 5% of people, they have a fantastic network, and they've learned to nurture and respect that network, and they have good influences in their life. And most of the top 1%, I think almost all of the ones that I've studied, all the books I've read, they've had an influencer or a mentor in their life, someone that has been there guiding them, someone they can bounce questions off. If you want to be a real estate investor, go make friends with some real estate investors and bring them into your life. Even if you have to volunteer with them, go meet some realtors, go and talk to people that will help you and support you in reaching those goals. Because if you set all those goals, and we talk about in the beginning, setting out SMART goals, right, that are attainable, that are realistic, you aren't going to be able to stay committed to those goals if the people around you aren't supporting you, aren't providing you that feedback loop. Like, I have some really great friends in my network now that'll say, hey Mike, what are you doing? You're going down this path. I thought your goal was this. This is my goal. How can we help you get back on the path? So having those people just to talk about your goals with, I find it's very, very useful and valuable to not only write down your goals, but to share one or two of your goals. And I often do share my goals. One of my recent goals right now is to buy one property a week. And I've been staying true to that for the last, 6-7 weeks. We've bought 8 properties. I've been buying one property a week with investors. I'm buying properties. We're joint venturing. This is a business I'm trying to build. And so I've set a realistic goal. And for me, one property a week is realistic. I have a network of people and I have capital myself that I could buy, with investors, one property per week. It's all about keeping that deal flow going. Now, to support that, I have, maybe 10 other goals that facilitate the ability for me to continue to buy one property a week. I'm out there hunting for deals, several hours a week, looking at, dozens of properties before I can find one, offering on several properties before I can buy one that fits the model, right? So, each and every day I'm moving towards that. And I want to take this time to sit down. And I was at a meetup a little while ago, a networking event, and someone asked me, beyond frugality, Mike, I know frugality was your big thing. You didn't spend a lot, so you're able to save a ton of everything you made and you reinvested that. I get that. But for me, like, what is something I can do right now? And I said to them, so, what are your goals? And they said, well, what do you mean goals? I would love to be really rich, man. I'd love to be, super wealthy, nice car, financially independent. Okay, those are dreams. But what are your specific goals to get there? Well, I don't know. That's, and they had no answer, right? But they were at a networking event, and that person was talking to a lot of people like myself who will help get them on the track to getting there. And so this video is for all those people out there, even those successful people. I've talked to multi-millionaires who are really successful entrepreneurs and business owners, small business, medium business owners. They work really, really hard, but they don't do any goal setting. They sit down once a year with their accountant, and that's sort of their goal setting time. Goal setting should be an active process in which you revisit on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual basis. And you're gonna have different discussions with yourself and with your partners along the way. But I just want to take the time to put this video out there. If you've been setting goals before, and maybe you fell off the bandwagon, you haven't been setting any goals recently, this video is here to kick you in the butt and say, hey, right after you watch this video, please sit down and write 10 goals and pick 2 of those goals that you really want to drill down and focus on. Those are the 2 goals, the 20% that you're going to be actually able to move the needle forward in your life and have a measurable impact on improving your overall quality of life, whether that's financial, whether that's a lifestyle thing, whether that's something with your business. You're the one who sets the priorities of the goals. That's the beautiful thing. It's aligned to what you want and what you're after. So that's what it's all about today. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. As always, spend less, earn more, and maximize your returns. Those are the only 3 levers you have to increase your net worth. You can say, hey, I don't want to spend less. I like to live a luxurious lifestyle. I just want to spend what I want to spend. Okay, focus on earning more. Focus on maximizing your returns. You're not going to get there as fast, but you can just do it with 2 levers. I'm telling you, there's 3 levers you can play with. I think it's easiest to play with all 3, but it's up to you guys. I'm giving you the tools. I'm trying to share with you the knowledge. And I'm here sharing with you guys. In the comments, please, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Please smash that subscribe button. If you're new to my channel, please check that out. I'd really appreciate the subscribe. And check out a lot of my videos I've done in the past on credit score, anything related to personal finance. I do have a lot of really cool videos coming up in the queue about basically jumpstarting your giving you a financial transformation, building basically your net worth way up, helping you get there. I talk about things like investing in equities, bonds, but primarily I talk about real estate investing because that's something that I've really mastered here in my market. Buying, as you guys know, now I'm probably over 30 properties that I have actively purchased. So I've seen hundreds of properties, managed it all, and I'm here to share all those insights with you guys and help you to unlock financial independence. It's, myself, I got bored being retired at 25. I need to keep myself engaged. And so this is one way that I feel like I'm giving back. It's my way to give back to society and give back to some of the people in my network. And so please, guys, if you enjoyed this video, share it on social media and let me know in the comments if you've stayed all the way to the end of this video. I love to hear that. That is my absolute favorite when someone stays right to the end. Please let me know what your goals are. What are your goals and what are some techniques you've used to set goals? Do you have any plans in the immediate or short term to better your overall wealth? And specifically, what are some of the techniques you use to create better goals? Because I could always improve too. Anyway, spend less, earn more, maximize returns. Thanks, guys.